BIC Podcast number 171, live edition. Live coverage of the hobby apocalypse. The hobby is shaken to its core. Or at least some people promise these things. Alas, Eric, I went looking. I looked outside, and yeah, it's cold. There was snow and stuff. But that was the same as yesterday.
Yes, same as yesterday.
Yeah. So no, it looked the same, man. Got to be honest. It kind of looked. I was expecting, earth shattering. Look, I'll confess this. It was 9:55 in the morning. Like, we'll talk about this here in a moment. Links in the description in a moment for the replay, folks. It was 9:55 in the morning. Sports Card Nonsense had their exclusive.
Yes, they did.
I slept through it, Eric.
My very best friend in the whole wide world, Mike Gio.
Yeah. So I was in bed, Brendan. I was sleeping. Got to be honest.
I was not, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
I figured somebody would wake me up when the apocalypse happened. I figured somebody would wake me. And you know what? I didn't get a single phone call for it.
No, we thought we'd just let you sleep.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Zach here first. Woke up this morning thinking Eric was getting canceled. Then heard lawsuit and thought, nice. Dan finally actually sued Eric. After that, everything was a disappointment. Fair.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Kidding me, Rob? Well, he was served papers on the Friday Live, so that was important.
It was.
Josh says, welcome to the Monday Night BIC Podcast. Did the hobby apocalypse arrive today? We're going to evaluate that. We're looking into it. Carl here from Aussie Land says, I'm in Carlos. Aussie. Keith in the lonely basement. Good evening. Never have so many owed so much. 2 in arbitration hearing. Yes, indeed. So I got to be honest with you. Before I get into any of the rest of it, since it is a podcast episode, we'll get into a couple of things. So Eric, believe it or not, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to make sure we cover the silly card of the week because it's critically important.
Very important.
And it is the only true democracy in this world. So Brandon, I would be remiss if I didn't make sure we covered that. That is critically important.
It is going to be live last week.
It's all right. Sorry. And very important, what we're going to touch on is we're going to talk about the topic du jour because it is the topic du jour and the content gods demand it. But I am going to say before I get into the silly card of the week here, I do appreciate, as a bonus from the content gods, that not only are we going to get to do this as a live talking about the topic du jour, I was able to get a video making fun of the likelihood that the topic du jour was going to be very lame and dull. And that bonus is really, Eric, was the cherry on top of the whole thing.
Cherry on top. Okay.
And there was no false advertising. There was no clickbaiting. It very clearly said on the thumbnail that it was breaking news. Not yet. Not really. We'll check tomorrow.
Yeah. I saw that you did a video on that.
I did.
Found it to be interesting. And then I watched this morning the interview
with Vampire,
and found that to be very interesting. And I have a wide range of opinions on it.
Yes, and we will touch on those. There's an opportunity here. Good evening, Will. All right, so real quick, we'll do the silly card of the week, and then we'll get into the topic. And then at the very end, I've actually got a couple of pickups, guys, that we'll play into story time, but I'm going to do that at the end. I'm going to save that for the end because we'll do the silly card here really quick right now, and then we'll talk about the topic du jour. All right, silly card of the week. So there will be a community post this week as usual where people get to vote. Only true democracy in this world, so bear that in mind. But what we're going to do here is I will quickly share the results from last week. Here they are.
Come on, here we go, baby. Come on.
High kick received 53% of the popular vote.
Woo, woo! Yeah.
Followed by the chicken contenders with 36% of the popular vote, and the Vila, alas, only secured 11%.
I think it's the worst I've ever done.
Yep. Unfortunately, they weren't feeling the Vila.
Did about as good as the Patriots.
But Brandon, as I've said previously, the fact that Eric was actually able to win proves it was legitimate. Otherwise, there's no chance
to ever allow that to happen.
Nope. So Eric, I will never want to hear one accusation that we do not count every single vote.
Yep.
There will not be any arbitrary lawsuits.
Nope. No arbitration for anybody. No excuse making. No questions. The audit has found every vote was counted. Despite the fact you all got it wrong. But moving on. But we did count every single one.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's get into this week's. So here it is. All right, go ahead, Eric. This one's all you.
Well, this might have been the scariest man, at least size and physique wise, during his playing career. The mailman, Karl Malone. The guy was just an absolute beast. Cut with a chisel, hammer and chisel. I mean, he's just a freak of nature, Hall of Famer. And I came across this Karl Malone card at work, and I got to be honest, he doesn't look as scary as he did on the court. He's riding a little horsey, which is probably, if a regular sized person was on it, would probably look a lot bigger. But he's a giant, so the horse looks small, and I don't know what movie or TV show or commercial or whatever he was doing, but I just found Karl Malone riding a horse to be kind of silly.
So what happens here, Brandon, is that Eric wants to get stomped by a gigantic horse being ridden by Karl Malone.
I don't want to go too deep into the Karl Malone thing, but I am very shocked that Eric was such a big Karl Malone fan, especially as a father of a daughter. But anyway,
Eric has his own appreciation for Not So Fellas.
Listen, I didn't want to get into all that. I found this idiot on a horse. Okay.
You were giving him some high praise, though, Eric.
Well,
I was going to say it took about a 25-minute preamble.
Okay, fine. You want to get into it? The guy's a human.
All right, moving on. Next one. I don't have all day, Brandon. I want to get to the topic du jour. So let's get into it here. Next.
I played into the topic du jour. I mean, let's face it. There is some alleged accusations that there might be some gambling type workings on a certain platform. We'll get to it in a bit. And here we are. Back in the 70s, the Yankees were gambling. It says so right here on a card. We can't get away from it. Exposed. Remember back in the 70s, it was supposed to be for the kids, and they were exposed. Yankees take gamble on Oscar. Good old Oscar gamble. Aside from the hair and everything else, I just figured it was
that hat
perfect for the occasion.
Indeed. Will here says, what did Karl Malone do? Care to expound, Carlos? Listen, Will, we don't talk about your allegations. So if we're not going to talk about your allegations, because basically you did exactly what Karl Malone's been accused of, but worse. Allegedly.
Did say
we're not going to talk about yours. We got to leave Karl alone. And you don't have a horse.
Well,
as far as I'm aware, Will does not have a horse.
He's also friends with Ken Golden. So right there, he's just
another thing Will has in common with him. They're basically the same person.
Yeah. Oh my goodnesses.
A lot of people didn't realize that. Will's a lot taller than you think he is. Just letting you know. Moving on. Megalodon. All I have to say is Not So Fella and Megalodon.
If that was autographed, that would actually be a pretty cool card, though.
I really listen. I've seen a couple of variations of some of this stuff, and I got to be honest. I really appreciate this Megalodon here. Gotta be honest.
Good design. I like the color. I like the layout. They did well on it. It's silly. It's unlicensed. All of the other things that people hate, but it actually looks good.
Hey, listen. The important thing about this is if you look at it, obviously, Wildcard, it has a lot of these different kind of sets. But if you look real closely, I've always joked about the National being like Shark Week but lamer, and also the Expo being like Shark Week but lamer. This literally has a shark. We've literally got a shark.
So some details that Wildcard made sure to put. So they couldn't say, Packers or anything, but they said pro look. So pro look. And then they gave us the little serial number down at the bottom, 101. But then above it, it says true 101. It's not a fake 101, boys. That's a true 101.
Yeah.
It's important. So these will be your selections.
Should appreciate that. If they start saying true rookie card, Victor's going to be all over them.
I like it. I like it a lot. So those will be your selections. We will have a community post on there. That'll be there. And like I said, much like the Karl Malone situation, we're not going to speak about Will's transgressions, alleged they may be. Let us never speak of it again. Now, it's time. I was promised, Eric, the hobby being shaken to its very core.
To its core.
And what I got was basically the shit that I expected. We got arbitration. Multiple counts of arbitration. 15 different instances of arbitration with the potential for more. The hobby lawyer, Paul Lesko, has announced that he shall be filing for multiple arbitrations with whatnot.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a couple of bullet points. Obviously, if you've seen them, the 1,018 videos on it already. By the way, in my video, I said there would be a bunch of folks that would drop videos almost immediately. So, which, it was an embargo. People basically had to be on standby until the clock hit the appropriate time on the clock. And then boom, there's your videos one after another in sequence, which is exactly what I mentioned at the time. Pretty much the same thing. This was the margin of shaking the decor. Yes. I think the fat-free margin.
I just shook. Come on.
I think the fat-free margin. What's like the lowest, what's like the most watered down margin we can find? It's that one. Eric, it's not even I can't believe it's not butter. It's I can't believe it's not margarine.
Yeah.
Good evening, Paul. Suk says, Mark's safe from arbitration. Appreciate you. And I'm glad you are safe from the arbitration. The arbitration's out there to get us all. Scary time. So I'll include a link in the description for those that may concern. Now, I think some of these are behind paywalls. I forget. I actually might have. I've got like a family subscription to the Athletic. So I'll include another one if this one doesn't work for you guys. I'll include a couple of links so you have it. So here it is, right here. Customers accuse whatnot of illegal gambling operation over sports card breaks / repacks. And then it breaks down a little bit of the point that they're looking at it. Specifically, the targeting is on randomized box breaks. So keep this in mind. The focus on a lot of this is randomized box breaks and randomized repack breaks on the platform. Okay. So Paul Lesko said he filed 15 arbitration demands and represents 30 clients with claims against whatnot. The arbitration demands claim randomized box breaks violate California's ban on illegal lotteries. Whatnot is incorporated in Delaware, but its headquarters are in California, while randomized pack breaks constitute illegal sports trading card grab bag lotteries. So that's kind of what specifically the focus of this is. And I'll grab a quote, and then I'll also play a bit from Lesko in one of his conversations today. I'll play a piece for you. Whatnot represents that it operates a marketplace where live shopping helps connect buyers and sellers. That this is a false front, the case's claim. Functionally, Whatnot operates as an unregulated online casino where it exploits its customer base by encouraging compulsive spending and in the process generates billions of dollars in revenue without providing the safeguards required for regulated gambling operations. We'll get back to the safeguards here in a second. So before we say anything on it, Eric, I'll finish playing one more piece.
Yep.
Again, I'll leave a link in the description if folks want to check it out. It breaks it down and gives a couple quotes. All right. Let me play a piece, though. Sports Card Clubhouse, Lesko has already done a bunch of interviews already. Sports Card Clubhouse, he did talk to Mike Junkwack's Hero. I'm actually going to fast forward it to the end. I will include a link in the description to this one for you as well, so you can check it out. But I want to focus on specifically what Lesko's looking to get out of this, as opposed to the Brian Gray shake the hobby to the core piece and the whole bit. I want you to listen to what Lesko, this is from Lesko himself, what he thinks is going to come out of it, where he ranks it in terms of how significant it is, and also what they're trying to accomplish with it. So I want you to hear it directly from him. Okay. So here we go.
So there's been a mixed reaction in the hobby. You have a lot of people who say this is a big nothing burger. That's a term I heard a lot on Twitter today. But then there are a lot of people who say this is hobby shaking. It's going to shake up the industry. Where do you stand on this?
Somewhere in the middle. I think, again, we're not challenging repacks, period. We're not challenging randomized breaks, period. We're challenging Whatnot to be a better place, to do a better job. I think it's a big deal because of the number of people that are on Whatnot. I mean, it's a $11 billion, $12 billion company. I'm not sure what percentage of that is breaking, but I think it's probably fairly significant.
They said 4% of their sellers are breakers, but I think that's 4% of all Whatnot sellers, even, if they're selling purses or watches, Lego. Yeah. But they did not say what percentage of their sports card sellers are breakers.
Yeah, and it doesn't address revenue either, because I think probably in the sports card area, you're probably selling higher. Again, I don't know what all is sold on Whatnot, but I'd rather see what percentage of their income of their revenue is breakers, and I think it's going to be.
All right, so I'm going to pause there, and then I'm going to play you one more thing before we finish up, and then we'll get into, and then I'll open it up to you guys, and we'll open it up to the chat. Okay? So real quick, before we get into it, I also want to take exception here, Brandon, because in the title here, it says cesspool. And I wanted to enjoy very much the fact that all of a sudden cesspool is included as part of the complaint and everything about how it had been used in other places and all that. So Brandon, when I was listening to that, I was thinking back, and I was thinking ye old Wayback Machine. In the time, I was almost going to do like a Wayne's World kind of. Ooh, it was very interesting to me. Yeah, I was thinking about doing something like that. So real quick, just a completely random, unrelated clip that I want to play for just for a second, if you'll indulge me.
I'm not going to like this, am I?
However, well, let's talk about the infinite cesspool that is whatnot. And it is an infinite cesspool. Not a regular cesspool, infinite. It's a bottomless cesspool. That's literally all I had to play. That was it. That was like 4 cesspools within about 6 seconds. That was episode 133, yield June last year.
Yeah.
Get on my level, children. And by the way, I'm sure that's not the first time I said it, but that was Eric. The reason I picked that one is because I said it 4 times is like 6 seconds. It was wonderful.
Listen, nothing we're hearing today is shocking. It being a cesspool has been known since shortly after the platform launched, and no one should be shocked about this. And I'll just say this for now. I don't know, because I'll let you run the show, and if you want me to say more later, I will. The key piece of this is trying to get Whatnot to change, not to shut it down, not to destroy the company. It's to get it to change. I think the majority of people in the hobby and the majority of the people who participate on Whatnot would love to see it change for many, many reasons. And, we've been asking for it to change. We've been complaining about how they don't get involved and discipline the bad actors or have rules to prevent bad actors. And we've been saying this since the platform came to be. So if this lawsuit can somehow make positive change on that platform, get rid of the bad actors, hold people accountable, and put enforce Whatnot to run a legitimate company, then I think that's great.
So we'll expand on that in 1 second. I'm going to read a couple of comments here just to get us all cut up. I'll read one more piece of an article, and then we'll open it fully up to everybody to take a shot at this. So T206 here says, good evening. As someone who works in a card shop, it sickens me when I see kids come into the shop with a card they won on Whatnot for $20. And it's always a card that anyone would pass over in a $1 box. So that's fair. Now, in this case, nothing of what Paul Lesko is doing in this case, though, would address that. Because this one is talking about specifically randomized breaks. Randomized like team breaks, so like a spinning wheel or whatever to pick a team. People tipping and saying that certain teams seem to have more cards left and trying to encourage people to buy certain ones, and the randomized like repacks. So the repacks, so it's focusing, Eric, on very specific little subcategories. So like the person who's selling singles and whatnot is not even part of the scope of the conversation that Lesko is trying to do here. So nope. A lot the Whatnot platform is a discussion that obviously will draw a certain eye. And then with all the stuff we talked about in the past and the cesspooliest cesspool that's ever cesspooled and the whole bit.
Cool.
Yeah. But we got a million examples. So that, this, in this case, and we're not even talking about like a lawsuit in the full sense. We're talking about like arbitration, because that's a very specific kind of thing. And Lesko does make a distinction on it. In some of the interviews, he does discuss it. So if you are curious, I'll leave a link in the description because he does explain the difference just so that, there's a little understanding there. Laura here, good evening. Is this like yelling fire in our crowded movie theater? Could be. Who knows? Paul says nothing. Says Brian Gray, like thinking he's monumental, and his own attorney and the own attorney filing a lawsuit is like, meh, it's not that big. I'm glad though that Lesko. That's why I played you that clip. I'm glad that Lesko specifically tried to put it. He wasn't selling it as this big earth-shattering thing, Brian Gray was one of those people that was running around basically trying to tell everybody that would listen that it was this monumental shaking thing. And even in the chat section area, if you watch the replay in the chat, there's Brian Gray saying, like, you couldn't be more wrong. This is money. By the way, this is Whatnot seller Brian Gray. I can go pull you up. And I joked about this on the Discord. I don't know if you caught it, Brandon. I literally pulled his interview from Dustin. Dustin interviewed him on March the 4th, this month. Not even 2 weeks ago. As Whatnot seller Brian Gray telling us about the Whatnot platform. Brian Gray was on the platform.
Yeah.
So
for those who don't know or have ever, don't know who Brian Gray is.
Or you're blessed.
Or
you are so blessed.
Or whoever has, maybe you haven't.
Eric, don't ruin their lives. It's so much better when you live in ignorance. Or go back to the hole, Brandon. Tell them, go back to the hole, back to the darkness.
Or if you've never interacted with him or anything, he's very excitable. Everything is up to 11. Okay? Everything goes to 11. Everything positive goes to 11. Everything negative goes to 11. Everything meh goes to 11. Everything. And he's entertaining.
Sundays, don't forget, Eric, even on Sundays at Beckett, grading goes to 11.
That's true.
11, yes. Yes, allegedly. So real quick.
It's exciting that way. And
but I will say, but Eric did hit on a keynote. He did hit on a keynote. It is entertaining. I'll acknowledge this. But no, Eric started off with, like, if you don't know who it is, you are a blessed soul. A blessed soul. Don't ruin this for yourself. Click off, click away. Good evening, Orlando. Whatnot makes too much money equals no chase. Likely. Here's the funny thing. Again, we'll touch on this a little bit more in a minute. So to be serious here for a second. Based on what Lesko just laid out, though, Eric, in theory, obviously, Whatnot's going to want to fight this. And actually, let me read you kind of their response to this, because to The Athletic, they did give a statement. So, and to other places as well, but I'll read you one of the statements. It says, we absolutely reject the characterization in this complaint. Whatnot said in a statement to The Athletic. Gambling isn't allowed on Whatnot. Hold on.
Exactly.
By the way, the clip played is not an opinion of any kind. It's just I really felt like playing it. It felt good. Just want to make that clear. To whom it may concern, I just wanted to play that clip. That's all. I'm going to continue reading now. So anyway, gambling isn't allowed and whatnot, and we strictly enforce this policy. I want you to pretend that I pressed the button again.
Oh, you totally just do it. Just
in
don't
my mind.
And press the button.
One more time.
Yeah, that it was worth it.
Indeed. All right. So anyway, gambling isn't allowed and whatnot, and we strictly enforce this policy. Card breaks are a long-standing format and collecting. By the way, I'm reading their quotes from their statement, just so we're all on the same page. And again, links in the description. I will give you the link to this, so you can check it out for yourself. Card breaks are long-standing format and collecting at card shops, conventions, and in communities that have thrived for generations. So this is true. Card breaking in and of itself is not a new concept. So that is accurate. And while sellers who break only make up 4% of the sellers on our platform, we've taken care to bring the experience online that in a way that holds everyone accountable. Whatnot shows happen live and on camera. Sellers face real consequences when they break our rules. I could literally just keep the button. Like, I could be spamming this button right now. Like, Brandon, I could just be like on the button this whole time, just like over and over and over again.
Listen, let's just put the Ted DiBiase video. We'll just put that on replay for an hour. Okay.
On loop.
And
just on loop.
We'll all meet back here at 9:11.
They make it so easy, Brandon. They make it so easy for me. Like, I don't even have to try. Like, I'm just reading the statement. This is a quote from the statement. These are their words. Sellers face real consequences when they break our rules. We've set the standard for how these formats work online, and we're committed to maintaining it. End quote. Moving on. Paul says, Whatnot's own ad shows a green mosaic Christian McCaffrey for $21 when I wouldn't pay 21 cents. Will always be hilarious. Lawsuits take years. Nothing will get fixed too soon, says the bro. Fair enough. Yeah, any kind of it is arbitration, which is a little bit quicker. I think Lesko said that typically they take around or up to 18 months, which is obviously a little better than normal litigation, which is years and years and years. But still, like it's not like it's not going to get resolved tomorrow. It's not going to get resolved next week. There's a process. It takes time. Stu says, Big Bri, the whatnot 11 guy. Yes. Eric talking like he's 11. That's an improvement. With the concussions, that's an improvement.
Yeah.
Define gambling, they say. Indeed. And Orlando transcribed the clip. Haha, indeed. So if no Brian yelling fire, then, yep, not so much. Not so much. It happens. So, yeah, 6 to 18 months. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's not, the point is it's not going to be this immediate, like it's going to, again. So Eric, there's two scenarios. There's a scenario where whatnot comes up with a defense that basically they kind of shield themselves from it and basically tell you to go screw in a legal format. Then there's the one where this is kind of the other side of it. What if they give, because remember, Lesko laid out some of the parameters. What if, at least on paper, in a token way, they give Lesko some of the stuff he's talking about? One of the things he included in kind of his complaint was that if you're going to treat it like a gambling thing, you can have a button that says, hey, if this person says they're opting out, it prevents them from being able to access the platform. But obviously there's ways to go around that. They started incorporating some of that, but there's really easy go-betweens. Like a gambling app, you can actually put like little prevention measures and say, I can't bet more than $100 a day, a week, a month. There are things they can do on there, which happens on gambling apps today. That exists. Basically, if they hit on those key notes and give enough on there and then basically cut a check, realistically, Eric, they could go on about their business. Like if they cut a check and then cover a couple of the things that the complainer are covering, it doesn't actually mean whatnot has to go away with what they're doing or really stop it or give a couple of slaps on the wrist to some of the big offenders. There are ways around this. So it's one of those things where it depends on how much credence do you give to the idea that those people are interested in holding them to task at all costs versus give us some of the things we asked for, put some of those improvements in there, and cut a check. Storkzilla, they set the standard. Crap! Exclamation point. Good evening. Good evening, Scott. Big Scott 35 says, hi, boys, and love the hat Bobbles. Nice. Zach says, if one wanted to overreact, though, could this hurt repackers and in turn hurt how many big-time buyers are buying up all the cards? So let's play this out. Now that we've had a chance to establish a couple of the elements. So I gave you one scenario. Let's go to the other part. Let's say, for the sake of argument, Eric, they called the lawyer and it works.
Okay.
Lives are changed.
Lives are changed.
Yes. They get the repackers, those repacking scum. All right. So let's play it out. So kind of playing into kind of Zach's question. Could this hurt repackers? So in the worst of worst case scenarios, man, let's say it put some cold water on it. That would slow down repack purchasing, which in turn means that the folks that are running around kind of clearing out showcases and all that, that would slow down. So obviously that would hurt some liquidity and do it. Now, would that be the end of the day? This is in the extreme where it actually is impactful to the point you actually see it. Would that, really put the whole kibosh on the whole thing? Not necessarily. But you know where you would see it? And this is where it kind of is tricky, Brendan. Part of the reason I find this so amusing. For the rank and file collective, the majority of us, unless you're participating in breaks, you're probably not going to give a shit. That's why the Brian Gray, shake the hobby. Not so much. No, not really. Now, would it affect singles? It can affect some singles. There are some. So I'll actually give you a tangible example. I'll give you one example of one type of single, and I'm being serious, one single, for me, that if the best case scenario or worst case scenario, whatever you want to consider it, where it actually impacts it, where it could actually be useful. Do you know where it could come into play? The Chosen Rose and Kaboom. The infamous Chosen Rose and Kaboom that I've tried to purchase a couple of different times, but I think it's going for too much money. Well, because it's a case hit and some people are working on the set, they kind of throw them into those kind of things like repacks. There are people that are picking it up like that. So it actually might bring the price down to something. It'll still be too high, to be perfectly clear on that. But as opposed to being nearly $100 for the Chosen Rosen, maybe it brings it down to like $35, $40. Okay. But other than that, Brandon, it doesn't change life for me. But I did find, Brandon, I was able to locate a card where hypothetically, maybe it impacts it and saves me a little money. But that's about the end of it.
To be quite honest, I'm looking at this, and the only thing that is like the focus. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversy with Whatnot over the years, like
A little bit.
all around,
Allegedly.
not just with randomizations or repacks or anything else.
Yeah. And
The
bad
thing-
sellers and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, my concern with this here is, what are we solving for this just targeting Whatnot, like as the platform? Like, Lesko said right there, they want Whatnot to be better.
Mhm.
Well, repacks were a thing long before Whatnot. Breaking was a thing long before Whatnot. Anybody remember what was it? Random.org. That used to be the thing people would go on and put in all the names or whatever, and roll the random digital dice.
Well, they still are. Like there are plenty of breaks out there that still use it. Like it's still
Right.
viable.
So that even in and of itself, and I think a lot of the concerns was Lesko was showing some text messaging between people and rigging breaks. And let's be honest, there's been a lot of shady shit going on for a long time. Okay. They can rig those random.orgs and everything. Like it was doable. The wheel spins and all that stuff. It's a carnival game. You can you can weight down the wheel, right? Repacks. They could show you a plethora of awesome cards, but only put a few in there. So you're getting nice hits, but not putting the big hits in until a lot of the product is sold. There's a lot of ways to go about this that has happened for many years without Whatnot. If Whatnot goes away from this, okay, yeah, you just put your foot down, you hit the beast in the mouth, because they have likely grown to be the biggest platform partaking in this. But at the same time, the hobby in general has grown with way too many people breaking to begin with. Like that's when the retail stuff started up and everything else. So I guess the question is, what are we solving by going after Whatnot, when if the actual problem or the concern, as stated, is the randomization, the way that the platform is acting, and this has happened elsewhere, how are we going to solve it in general? What stops, even some of the people from leaving Whatnot, starting up a YouTube channel, telling their Whatnot followers, hey, come over to YouTube, and just doing it on their own YouTube channel? Like, that's how it was done before there was an actual platform. The only thing Whatnot's really good at is collecting the payments and the shipping and all that stuff, but you could still do it on a YouTube channel. Like, so I don't, it's good to see somebody is trying to take some sort of action. I just don't know what this is actually going to solve. If Whatnot straightens up, there's so many people on there doing stuff that we know that we're still going to have the Whatnot scam of the day or multiple times a day. They're not going to keep eyes on everything. So I just don't know. I guess in a sense, the way, Brian tried to make it, this is groundbreaking. I don't really think so. It's more groundbreaking that, cool, somebody's going to attempt to do something. I just don't see it solving anything.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that there has always been you've always had the option to kind of pursue this kind of an action if you really wanted to, and Whatnot has opened itself up to it, because a lot of the stuff they document have also been documented. Like that's why I say, like when Lesko was having the conversation, he was citing YouTube videos and things where people were talking about. That's why I made the joke about the whole cesspool thing. That literally, Eric, I found the best clip. He goes, I've seen on some YouTube thing people referring to it as a cesspool. It's like, yes, it's subtle if you really listen. It's been discussed. Real quick, I'll touch on a couple comments here. Laura says, Carlos, you viewed the Boston Card Hunter video. Are you talking about the one where some of the breakers were trying to silence him? Is that I'm assuming that's what you're referring to? We can touch on that in a minute, but I did see it. Am I intrigued? Not really. I'm also not surprised, but I think it's interesting. I think it's amusing. I don't know if it goes all the way to intrigued, but I was amused by it. I'll say that. Tito 6 said, the Whatnot lawyers in the room, you can't handle the truth. Yes. Bobby Rell says, okay, I'm filing a lawsuit. There being no such thing as ice cream cake, unless it is a 50-50. So the Burrell may have to go after Eric as well. Eric's already fielding one lawsuit, and maybe a second. Yeah, we're going to deal with it. So Andy here says, the end game here has got to be regulation across all platforms. And just out of curiosity, who is going to be the regulatory body on that?
Right. I mean, you got to start at the top, because, I mean, let's be honest. If we're going to say that it's gambling because of a break or whatever else, the boxes, the shit that Fanatics is flowing to the shelves is gambling. Like they're lottery.
Well, Brandon, like the boxes have had now one way they tried to get around this. The boxes have had odds now for a couple of decades.
Right.
One way they tried to get around it was no purchase necessary, because it is possible, what used to be possible, to send in a self-addressed stamped envelope and like an index card or whatever, and technically without purchasing, you could get cards back, and people did. So that was kind of a way they would get around it. And Eric, I don't know if you've heard about this or are familiar with it, but in Canada, with a lot of those, they would incorporate a skill testing question. They would put a skill testing question. You'd have to answer a math problem. So by incorporating a math problem, it was a skill testing question. Therefore, Eric, it's not a lottery, because you have to answer the maths. And by the way, if you get it wrong, you don't get shit.
Well, so something that was brought up that Lesko was really putting out there, even on that the Athletic article, he's talking about the fact of California and their prohibition of like repacks or
like a grab bag kind of thing,
right.
As well. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So the funny part to that is, and people have said, how do they hold to the regulation, or how strict are they on it? I was curious because of the whole Tops Now thing and the 101, and they literally call it a chase and all this other stuff. And in the state of New York, there's literally rules against running sweepstakes or whatever. And if you actually look at it, there is zero chance possible that Fanatics can set up these Tops Now and the 101s and all this other stuff to hold to the rules in the state of New York. Now, it's probably the same in other states as well, but I specifically had found it in New York, and I contacted them. And they basically said, yeah, that's the law, but they don't enforce it. So it's probably a similar thing in California with the grab bags and everything, because that was literally like the gaming commission office in New York. They said, yeah, it is a law, but we don't enforce it.
Yeah.
Why haven't
that happened? Look, there are laws on the books that exist that are not enforced consistently, and then it's like, okay, well, it's there. It is. You can go look it up. It's there.
We tried.
I like this suggestion. The regulator should be the sheriff, Jim Beckett. Jimbo. Jimbo could take care of this.
Is that his new nickname? Instead of doctor?
Brandon, I dubbed the sheriff. He declared himself the sheriff, and I was happy to endorse the sheriff, Jimbo Beckett. Let me tell you, it was good. I appreciate it. Forget, if Americans need to solve the math problem like back the day, there would be no winners. I'd like to see some skill testing questions. Let's go. Good evening, name. It says happy 5% more mature Monday. That's right.
Show up on a Friday, name. I got plenty to say to you.
Yeah. So look, I think your point is fair. I think the idea here is that, yeah, there are some of these rules in the book, and there's nothing. I don't have any objection to what Lesko's doing. What I'm getting at is that again, the Brian Gray characterization was very amusing. It's very funny. It's kind of silly to have it though in an embargo and like a timestamp thing. It's like, dude, you're going through arbitration. You've got this, and I'm glad that you wanted to explain this to me. And by the way, him going public with it makes total sense to me. I don't have any issue with any of that. Like that's part of the process. He wants to get it out there and people to focus in on it. And from that concept, totally get it. And in the conversation I've heard with him, he's not the one trying to oversell it. He's got BG doing it for him.
Here's a question to pose. And since we are 5% more mature here.
Go ahead. Sure.
What if this all falls through and the case is a wash, nothing is done? Do we see things potentially getting worse? Because that could be a fear of this. Like if there's this big thing and all this talk about, this arbitration case and we're going after whatnot and this and that, and it falls through, how much bigger does the cesspool get if people are like, they're not going to do nothing, let's go for it? Like that's definitely a question of concern.
I think it's a fair question, and I want to pose that to the chat as well. Can I ask an alternative of that question, though? So that's like the worst case scenario. Let me give you one that isn't the worst case scenario, but is also a possibility. What if they don't do nothing, but what if like the Fanatics Live and some of those other platforms say, okay, So let's just button up our stuff and make sure that we're good. So basically what they do is they put in there, and what they do is they adhere to it, but it doesn't prevent rate repacks. It doesn't prevent. What they do though is they tighten up the language, Eric, so that it's a little bit tighter, so that if somebody's a violator, they just boot them off the platform, because Fanatics Live and some of the other ones don't seem to have as much trouble booting somebody off the platform. Whatnot can be cesspooly as much as it wants. And then, but in order to accommodate this, they say, okay, we will put warnings about gambling. We will put in this thing where if you hit this button, you can't access the platform for 24 hours, a week, a month, whatever you imply, similar to a gambling app, and it'll actually hold. You won't be able to undo it easily. We'll meet those requirements, these conditions, and we'll cut you guys a check. Now go away. And if they accept that, Eric, then they got some of the stuff they say they wanted.
Mhm.
But did it really change Whatnot?
Nope.
Like, you could win and still technically not have accomplished a whole heck of a lot, because the other platforms could be like, what are the bare minimum requirements we need to hit in order for you guys to get off our back and stop bothering us?
And
Give us the check boxes.
Yeah.
We're just looking for the check boxes. List them off. What do we need?
lawsuits are very similar to contract negotiations. You know, or even politics, where you shoot for the moon knowing that you will not get it, and then you meet somewhere in the middle, which is where you really wanted to be, and everybody loses, therefore it's fair.
Do we think this is seriously about trying to change and enforce, or do we think this is about financial gain for clients?
I don't.
Financial recovery for clients, I guess you could say.
So Mangini's kind of outlining your question here.
Yeah.
So I think so. Look, I'm one half of a show called Cardboard Cynics, Eric. So I got to kind of stay on brand here.
Yeah.
I think if a check is cut with enough zeros on it, I think a lot of the moral objections go away, and a lot of people are suddenly very quiet.
Yep.
But why can't both be true? Okay.
Why can't we receive a boatload of money? I agree.
No, why can't the people who are going forward with this suit, for the lack of a better term, because I'm not a lawyer, I'm not going to get into exactly what it is, arbitration, suit, whatever. We'll just call it a suit. Why can't those people get the money back that they have been, if a judge or arbitrator or whoever agrees that they have been robbed of, they get their money back plus damages? That seems fair. If Whatnot is found to be guilty and is held accountable, that seems fair. And why also can't change be made moving forward within the platform? I'd like to try to think. And listen, I could be the third person on Cardboard Cynics because I hate everybody and everything. We know that. But I would like to just pretend for a second, because it's 5% more mature, that every once in a while, positive things can come out of something if it's done correctly. So yeah, my hope is that the people that were done wrong are made whole. And moving forward, Whatnot's like, we need to tighten this crap up finally. It can't be the wild, wild west anymore. We have to tighten this crap up because we do not want another suit. And we don't want to lose more money. And we don't want more negative press and all these black clouds hanging over us in case we want to A, go public, or B, sell.
So I think that last piece is the most significant piece of all. It is the potential IPO piece. The only reason they would give a crap about this specifically is because, again, if they can cut a big enough check to make it go away, Brandon, that might be the play. And then give lip service. Again, that's what I said a moment ago. If they give you a button where it says, okay, look, if you can't control yourself, you can push this button and it'll prevent you from accessing it for a week or whatever it is. Again, following the same vein as the gambling apps. Like, the gambling apps have stuff like this. Responsible gambling, or whatever they want to call it. There's a piece there in the app if you want to access it. They match that. They basically replicate that function. Okay, so you do that. And then you create that scenario. Okay, that's cool. So you do those things. And then again, you cut them the check and say, please go away now. As soon as they go away, it clears a little, because Eric's speaking about the reputational. Like, what reputational damage? The reason I got to play the $1 Million Man clip, Brandon, during the response from Whatnot is because we are laughing at the premise that they are holding the line on their own policies. It's not like the policy doesn't exist. It's not like they have no rules. It's they're not even, to your example from earlier, they have some rules and they're not even adhering to and enforcing their own rules. So as a starting point, Brandon, shouldn't we enforce the very rules that are already written down, that already technically exist?
I mean, we've seen that with some stuff that should have been handled much different in the past with things that were said and everything, and it wasn't. But to Eric's point of like changing, to the whole point of change and them paying out and everything else, and to Paul's point, of biting them in the ass, I'm kind of also thinking of this in terms of eBay, in a sense, because they pay out, all the time due to scammers and everything else. And they try to make changes to not only protect sellers, also protect buyers from bad sellers, but then to protect themselves from constantly paying out. And a lot of times those changes aren't accepted well. It's looked negatively because it might, whatever change it is, the public, the buyers and sellers don't really care for it, whether that be fees or whatever else, right? So if they do make these changes, and let's say it is optional, are people just going to complain about it? That's another side to it, is they can sometimes try to change and the people reject the change because, well, let's face it, this hobby does like to complain about stuff and then they don't want it to actually change. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. If anything, I think, if they're a $1 billion industry and the numbers aren't too catastrophically large, they might just toss the money out and move on about their day, like you said, do some small little adjustments to maybe appease and make it look like they're trying. But things are forgotten too much in this space. Like, it would be too easy to just move on from, and nobody would even remember this conversation. So
there is so Eric, I will play into that kind of concept here in a second because we can have a little bit of fun with this. We're going to combine it between, like, we'll discuss. And by the way, chat, we'll have the discussion. Like, let's have the chat about this back and forth by all means. But the other side of it, there is kind of a humorous side to this, and I'll kind of convey based on what Brandon's just saying right now. So Bubba Jackson here says, and good evening, Bob. It says this suit is another step down the path towards government regulation and more hobby things. So a lot of people really, really are believing that this is going to lead down this path of the government regulation thing. Eric, do you know what I want for these people? I want this to be the monkey paw. Are you familiar with monkey paw? Do you remember the story of the monkey's paw?
I've heard of it. I can't say. I'm not.
Can we get the Coles notes?
I will give you the Coles notes.
I
properly.
I have heard of it. It's not coming to me though.
All you need to know, Eric, is that if you had the monkey's paw, you could make wishes. And your wishes would be granted, but every single one of the wishes comes with a horrible consequence. And that is like a horror trope, the monkey paw. And it's a story that I forget exactly who wrote it, but it's very well done. But the concept is you get your wish, but something always goes wrong. There's always a consequence to every wish that you got granted. I want this to be the monkey paw. I want people to get this government regulation they want. And the committee in charge of it is headed by Michael Rubin, Kenny, and Probstein. That's who I want in charge of the government regulation that you are asking for, so that you get exactly what and whoever the hell's in charge of whatnot, they can be on it too. Those are the people who will decide what the rules are of the land. I want them to be in charge because you will deserve it. You'll get exactly what you deserve. And your tax dollars, Eric, can pay for it. I feel better.
Oh, well, as long as my tax dollars are paying for it, I'm happy.
Absolutely. Your tax dollars should pay for it. It's the least you can do. About time you finally did something for us, Eric.
No problem.
Yes.
I live in Massachusetts. I love giving up my tax money.
As you should. Baseball Collector says, my viewing of the stream was interrupted by Whatnot ads. So first, I hope that's true because that would be funny. But second, Brandon, Mike Baseball Collector, are you telling me you don't have YouTube Premium? Why are you living like a peasant? My God, man. YouTube Premium is life.
Maybe he's just a cheap ass like I am. I don't pay for it either.
Damn. This is how Mike gets those 5-star autos. He saved the money on YouTube Premium. Listen, man, I invest in YouTube Premium. It's worth it. It is worth it. Just saying. Letting you know. YouTube. Bob Jackson says, platforms playing favorites with users has always been an issue. Whatnot turns a blind eye when people rake in money for them. That is true. Allegedly, of course. Indeed. I'm glad you included the allegedly. That's important.
You know, the funny thing about that too, and I know that it's been obvious in sports cards, but they do it in other categories like all over the board. Whatnot has been very big about giving their big names, their big sellers money to go out and spend. We've seen it with like Card Collector 2 and, you know, some of the others going to card shows and spending $10,000 or whatever else. And all that was advertising stuff, because then those cards were going back onto Whatnot, and they do take care of those people. I know of one of the resellers who was atrocious. His eBay store, his feedback and everything was going to hell. His fees were going up because he wasn't a top-rated seller anymore and all of this. And he decided to jump on Whatnot. And he's been like, I've seen the dude sell 20 grand in a day on there. And they actually give him money. And his rating or whatever it is, the star, 5 stars or whatever, somehow a guy whose eBay feedback went to shit is perfect on Whatnot. It's like any negative remarks get docked off because they have to protect the crown of those who are selling and big movers and stuff. So it's definitely what they do on there. But
it's fair. Yankee Kane here says, everyone forgets their short memories in this hobby. Case in point, Mike Baker is now in demand. That is true. That is true. Thank you, Yankee Kane.
That's just nonsense. But yeah, whatever.
Well, Hour here says install an ad blocker. So yes, you can do that, but I would point out 2 things. Number one, and this is actually, I'm actually being serious because I've actually did a little A/B experiment, Brandon. I was curious about this because maybe a couple of months back, like 6 months or whatever ago, people's views started to drop in different categories, and I would check it out. I did an experiment. I was curious because I have premium. So like, I don't see the ads. So I did a quick experiment and I found out where I put it in a browser. So where I didn't log in as myself, I put in a browser with the ad blocker. It doesn't count the views. I tried it multiple times just to see. It would not count the views. I tried closing window, reopening, refreshing the cache and doing everything, resetting it multiple times. It didn't count a single one of them. It's just like the views don't exist.
On my channel, all my viewers have ad blockers.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I get like 10,000 of video, but they all got ad blockers.
Yeah, no question. Obviously. it's all those people using the ad blocker. Damn.
Jeez.
Ridiculous. That's what's been going on this whole time. But yeah, so again, you do. At the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm just saying for me, I watch enough YouTube. The YouTube Premium is worth it for me. And I can use it for what I do on the app and everything. But no, do whatever you're going to do. But I'm just letting you know your views don't count. And make sure then at least hit the like button. At least so there's something. Make sure you at least do that then. Mangini says, as you broke down and got premium, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I've been using it. It's very good. Again, y'all do you. We've got a lot of subscriptions these days. I try to get rid of most of my extras. I've gotten rid of most of the extra ones that I had. Mike Ham says, I've had premium for 6 years. Yes. Ham, imagine if you invested all that money for 6 years. Hashtag invest. Mangini says, invest in Otani cards. Indeed. So I just want you to know, we read this. I got premium. Just saying. YouTube Premium helps channels that are monetized. That is true. That is true, Sven. As I said, like, I'm not knocking it. Gold Hour, use bad blocker if you want to, but then make sure you hit the like button because your view isn't counting. So at least hit the like button so that counts. Well, that's what I say. Like, it's up to you. It's the YouTube algorithm has decided to play that because YouTube obviously wants to play the ads. Like YouTube wants it. If you're doing premium, well, then it still gets money either way. So they're happy. They're good, but they won't count the other end of it. Monkey paw is like that technique used in Buddha's palm. Look at the bro. Trying to get in the monkey paw. But yeah, I'm kind of secretly hoping, Brandon, that one of these days they get their regulation thing. It's like, wait a minute, this is worse. That'd be amazing. Imagine
Here's a question that I would actually be curious of, because I went and looked earlier when we were having like all the fun discussion in the Discord and everything.
Yeah.
So Eric, I know you are an avid whatnot shopper. Carlos, I've not heard you talk much about being on there.
They literally blocked me. Literally blocked my card. I can't use it.
Oh damn! Well,
I actually tried once upon a time.
How much money have you spent? Wait, you deleted the thing. Estimate, Eric. How much money would you say you spent on the platform? In the chat, you can chime in as well if you shop and whatnot.
Okay, so just honestly, under $300. Because the only cards I purchased were from people I knew. I bought cards from Amanda. I bought cards from Chris. I bought, I think there was a couple of others that I was trying to support. And so I'd say under $300, close to 300, but just under. And it was all people I knew.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Bob
Jackson's comment here.
Oh, go ahead.
No, monkey paw would be like Eric asking for the perfect sandwich, and then it has mayo on it.
Oh, that's gross. That's just not.
So I'm going to show you all mine because I thought it was funny. This is my only purchase ever on Whatnot.
Yeah, you're gonna have to zoom back because right now your face is still in the shot, and your face is the one that's getting getting focused.
And then something popped up top. I don't know if that's private or not. $13. All right.
Yeah, there it is. Now we see it. Yeah, coming pick at 13.11.
Yeah, a hat. It was some of the resellers were doing a show, and the money was going to charity. And I got on there and bought that stupid little silly pirate hat that a bunch of them had signed just for fun and to donate some money to the charity. That's all I've ever spent on the damn platform.
Yeah. Well, I think look, so real quick, I want to touch on this for a moment. This goes back to kind of the old BG, shaking the hobby. So again, I gave you like an ultimate scenario. Like I said, I think there's going to be some kind of compromise with a check getting cut. I think that's the result that you're going to get out of this specific thing. That doesn't mean somebody else can't try down the road or whatever, but I don't think it's going to be this cataclysmic event is what I'm trying to get at. I think Whatnot has enough at stake at this point that they're just going to be like, what check boxes do I need to hit in order to basically get rid of you guys? Along with the check, what do we need to do here just to meet the minimum requirement to get you out of my sight? Whatever that is, here you go. Here's the check. Please go away now. So that's what I think is the most likely outcome. Of course, there are other outcomes. But even in the worst case scenario, even if I Thanos snap Whatnot out of existence, it doesn't eliminate repacks. It doesn't end card breaking. And all this other stuff, the regulatory piece is like, that's not going to come together in a weekend. So even if you get again, be careful what you wish for. The monkey paw thing is real. You might be shocked because, again, they're going to need experts, Brandon. And sometimes those experts are not the people that you want in charge of the thing that you thought you wanted a second ago, because I could easily see that going south for you real fast. Not the way you're thinking, not the way you're hoping for. So real quick, I'll read a couple comments. Josh says, in non-hobby news, did Eric get cookies for his birthday? He got ice cream cake.
I did get ice cream cake. And I also, so an ice cream cake yesterday. And then Saturday, we had make your own sundaes, which I made a copy of Friendly's Reese's Pieces sundae. So, but I did not have cookies.
Suk says, I've never used Whatnot. Bob Jackson says, I maybe spent $150 on Whatnot. That's fair. Catch up. They use forks for ice cream shake cake. Ice cream cake? Is that even real? That's right. So, but following up on your point, though, touching on what you're talking about, is that when it comes to a lot of these, these different platforms and everything, the thing is, the majority of us are not actually using the platform. Are they making a lot of money? Absolutely. 100% they are. Like, totally they are. This is facts. But the rank and file collector, that's what I say, like, if I Thanos snap them out of existence, they're gone. That doesn't necessarily, like, I said it half jokingly, Brandon, but I'm actually kind of serious. In the hypothetical scenario that repacks all went away, so now I got to go beyond Whatnot. I got to go all the way to repacks. That could be impactful in that one specific use case. Like, I gave you one specific card that I can't even prove it definitively, but may be impacted by that. Almost everything else, Brandon, that I collect, I don't see in repacks. Like, it's just not there.
Well, in terms of the big bri shakeup, the hobby's going to be blown away, blah blah blah. And in terms of what you're saying, where let's say that 90% of repacks just go poof. There's 10% out there that are legitimate. You know, your hit parades and all those kind of things, they stay in. We've seen a lot of videos lately of people talking about, oh, when you go to a show, the dealers' tables are being bought up and everything else. It could actually be a good thing for the majority of the space. Maybe not necessarily those that enjoy being able to dump their cards quickly, because, you know, inventory has been severely, you know, increasingly liquid. But in terms of you're going to a show and actually looking for stuff, it could actually be helpful, because we've heard a lot of people say that dealers are getting wiped out. The repackers are buying it all up, you know, yada, yada. Maybe it subdues prices a little bit. You can pick up something you wanted, like you talked about the Rosen. So is it going to shake up the hobby? Maybe, but maybe in a good way. Maybe in a way that we all can actually enjoy. So
It's possible. Like, I'm not discounting the possibility, but all I'm saying is I think a lot of the stuff that's going into those repacks, I think the rank and file, I'm emphasizing collector, because a lot of the folks
of it is trash.
I don't think a lot of them, it's like, you know, these case hits and stuff that, you know, maybe specific player or team collectors may be interested in certain singles, but that's why I gave you that Josh. Like, it's a very narrow use case. Like, it's a very specific set of single. The rest of it, like, yeah, I don't care. Whether it's in a repack or not a repack, it's not really impacting me because I'm not collecting it anyway. Here's a fun game, Eric. In the video that I made, I asked, because obviously I was making fun of the fact that we had an embargo. The embargo, given the level of this news, was ridiculous. It was silly to have an embargo. But I challenged the comment section, and they provided. I give a lot of credit. The comment section did provide. I said, what do you think this is going to be about? I showed the little, you know, placeholder the Sports Card Nonsense had. And I did mention, some people didn't hear me. I did mention the one line that it's a hobby, you know, group or person is going to get sued. And then I said, okay, so what do you think it is? Is it business to business, individual to business? What is the nature of it? What do you think it's going to be? So I've got the comment section pulled up here, and I'll give you some of the options. So, but as expected, Eric, some of the options put on here would have been infinitely more entertaining than what we actually got.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So first one, Card Deal says the Fed's watching. Well, not on this one. This one's Paul Lesko in an arbitration. So no dice on that one. E105 Mellow Men said Sports Card Nonsense appears to believe it's a hobby lawsuit, which is correct. That's what ended up happening. Baz, Baseball Card Curmudgeon, went with Probstein. Nope. No Probstein, eh?
That would have been awesome.
So again, Eric, that one would have been great. Was that embargo worthy? No. But would it have been great? Yes. That would have been fun.
Against him and his platform for shadiness and lost money and opportunity.
And the data leak and the rest of it. Yes, sure.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty there. But so you're seeing, Brandon, I'm going to the comment section and I'm finding way better options. Look, Brian Gray was promising us big things and people were hoping, they were swinging for the fences. It would have been entertainment. And we fell way short of that. Way short. But let me go back to the comment section. I'll continue. So here, Slim Thumbtack says the imagery of the slab shattering leads me to believe it's PSA related. Nope, not on that one. Dean Jackson says administration against COMC or PSA damages to card and losing items or holding items hostage. Nope, none of those things. Auburn 35 Auburn says I heard rumors of upcoming lawsuit. So this one's going to come up again in a second. 35 Auburn says I've heard rumors of upcoming lawsuits against Arena Club. I want to get to Arena Club here in a second, so hang tight. We're going to come back around to that one. And PSA, neither of which would be worth withholding, which is true. Neither one which would be worth withholding. It says government, that would be interesting. Yep. I threw it out there, Brandon, in the video I just said. Do you think it would be more of a regulatory kind of thing? Or I just offer the options because I really didn't think it was going to be as big. That's why I say, like, I think it was big promises and delivery was going to be less so, and that's what we ended up with. Bystander says someone suing whatnot or something to do with repack. So Bystander actually hit on it pretty close to exactly. Blabbing about slabbing included in there. Everything you said so annoying in terms of that. Paul Bowman here says Arena Club lawsuit or Probstein lawsuit. So 0 for 2 on that. Both would have been interesting, but not so much on that one. Keith Loading Basement says who killed Laura Palmer. Great reference. I appreciate it.
Oh my God. What is it? 1980 something right now?
I appreciate it. Yeah, you see, Bystander, you got it. You nailed it almost bang on. So good job by you. Good job by you. Bob Jackson says, I didn't add my guess. Nintendo is definitely suing Pacific Trading Cards over Pokemon cards. Yes. Be amazing. What I've seen is the repackers buying graded cards. We sold a lot of top-loaded cards to collectors working in sets and play runs this weekend. We had 7 display cases and 20-ish boxes. Thank you, Stuke. Good stuff. Cardboard and plastic threw out one the kind of out of left field that would have been interesting. So this was very specific, but this one would have been interesting. That's why I say I appreciate the comments. There were some good ones in here. It says, it looks like on March 10th that Anthony Curcio, which I hadn't heard the name maybe a little bit, filed a lawsuit against Collectors Universe. Defendants are Collectors Universe, Golden Auctions, and individuals. Since Curcio got arrested, he alleged that PSA and the FBI are framing him. Again, this would have been a fun story. There might be something to this. This is just a tort, but maybe something more is happening. Edit the crack PSA slap from SCN image. It makes sense for this as well. I would have liked that because it would have been out of left field. It would have been a bit random. And see, Eric, it's a conspiracy. So you see, the comment section, Eric, has way cooler options than what we actually got. I have FBI conspiracies. I have Arena Club stuff. Like, there's way cooler stuff over here.
I'm very sad that nobody suggested that they found the Dallas card show thief.
Yeah, Eric's been hiding. Eric's been covering his tracks well.
In the Dallas card show, it was that weekend, right? Wasn't it?
Eric is like, they'll never catch me. Those metal.
You will never find me.
I thought for sure.
No.
So here's a quick question though. Let me ask this to the chat too. So okay. So, you know, Whatnot obviously is a really easy target because, again, they are a cesspooliest cesspool that has ever cesspooled. However, if you want to take on repacks and such, a couple of comments mentioned it. What about Arena Club? There's a lot of money floating over there.
What about the vending machines? The damn digital ones, the ones that are online. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get the purpose, like, and what was said behind this, and I get that it's been a thing for a long time, but to just go after a platform and not the actual concerns, that's a bit confusing to me. And again,
Brendan, though, the people that are with Lesko on this specific action, they're people who were on the Whatnot. So for them, they're not worried about Arena Club or whatever. Their issues with Whatnot specifically, unless
they've used those too. And it could go back to a thing where Whatnot has been so anti-vocal about it, which surprisingly, apparently they've already made like a statement regarding this because they never say anything. So that was kind of shocking. But maybe this was an easy target. Like, hey, they're just going to pay it. They're not going to want to battle this. You know, they're not going to want to go deep in the weeds with this. So let's just go after them. And then at least, you know, we can say, hey, we stood our ground on this and we're making change of some sort. Maybe that's the thought behind it. I don't know, but it is there's a lot of places like this is opening Pandora's box of many things that should be gone after. If this is the move, if the pawn has been moved, we need to go around the board now. So
we got a chess metaphor there, Eric. Look at that. That's extra fancy. But so kind of playing into what you're saying though, in this case, that kind of goes back to the conversation we were having a couple of minutes ago. This is not really meant to fix the industry. A lot of people were hoping for this big, broad thing. Brandon, this is specific individuals that have a problem with a specific platform and a certain set of complaints and issues they're having with a specific platform. So it's targeted at the specific platform. So like a good example, we'll talk about more in a future episode, but you were having your challenges with the heritage. Well, with the challenges you've had
resolved, it has been resolved. That's
good to hear. But if for some reason it had not been resolved to your satisfaction, if this had been a continuing issue, you're not going to suddenly randomly sue Golden. That doesn't make any sense. Your issue is with this specific platform, this specific individuals. They need to make it right with you. They're the ones that you need to focus on.
I think with client at hand, their issue is on board with. Yeah, I get that space. My point is basically when he started mentioning some of the big concerns and to specify that they want to make Whatnot do better. If we're going to do that, then there needs to be added steps. You know, you got other places that are doing the same thing. And if we're trying to clean up some things, we can't, only scrub one wall. We got to go after all of it. So,
Yeah, that's why I say, like, I don't think I don't think Lesko on down. I don't think their goal is to fix the hobby here. I think their focus is on a specific platform for his clients. He's specifically focusing his attention and hoping they can get, like I said, I do think cutting the check is going to be a big part of giving them satisfaction. That's basically what they want out of it. Now, if some of those other stuff come along with it, I don't think they're going to say no. I think I think they've listed off their complaints and their issues, because you got to establish your case. You got to explain, hey, this is where our problems lie. Well, if you resolve some of those problems and cut the check, then, we'll move on with our lives. So Dan here says, I would give a legal opinion, but Eric would have to pay my hourly. I don't know if Eric's ready to get served anymore.
No,
He's getting served papers. He wants invoices.
No.
Invoices.
No. No.
All right.
No more dealings with him.
Paul says the monkey pawn. That's right. Combine our chess metaphor with it. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. So you see, like I said, there is some entertainment value here, Brendan, but the reality is, it's like, yeah, I didn't expect it. Look, I didn't expect it to be earth shattering. The reason I had the luxury of being able to sleep in is because I didn't have to be doing any work, and I was like, no, I can sleep in through this. I'll get to it when I get to it. And I knew it was going to be something like this. I enjoyed it. It was fun for what it was. And by the way, it does open up an interesting conversation. We've actually been able to take it down some paths. Got to talk about the monkey. I got to give you the Cole's notes on the monkey paw. So it's not all bad. We didn't lose here. We still got something out of it. Yes, Dan, we did do the silly card. We included some candidates. Eric was trying to tell us what a fine, upstanding citizen Carl Malone is. I had to cut him off because the effusive praise was getting to be too much.
No, that is not the conversation I was having. No.
Eric literally focuses and tries to pillar his life of the example of Carl Malone.
That is not the conversation I was having.
I believe that's what I heard. I read between the lines.
He called him a chiseled beast.
Yeah, I heard admiration in your voice, sir.
He was a chiseled beast. Also a human piece of crap, but whatever.
That's a horrible thing to say about Gene Simmons. Moving on.
I didn't say that.
Dan says, Eric abided by the injunction so far. But next week is a different story. We'll have to see. We'll find out.
We'll see.
Yeah. Every week there's always something. This week did not disappoint. That's right. The content gods have provided as always. And I decided to do it live because I figured we could have some fun with it, Brendan. Like, I figured, why not? Like, honestly, what not? Why not?
What not? Why not? There you go.
And it still gave me a great title that I appreciate. I appreciated BG for giving me the title. The hobby was not shaken or stirred.
Mm-hmm.
It rolls on just the same as it always does. Just the same as it always does. Yep. Did he's past Eric? Yes, without question. So let me ask you guys this. So we're not going to go too long tonight, but it was a good conversation to have. I've actually got a couple of pickups that I want to share with you guys. There's a little story attached to it, but I'll do that right at the very end. It won't take long. It'll be right at the end. But question for you guys in the chat. So is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Obviously, look, I gave some of the alternate scenarios. I want to thank everybody that did put a comment in the comment section for that video because that was fun. But it was actually kind of fun, Brendan, to see the different ideas that people were able to come. It was left so open-ended. There were, you may as well take a shot in the dark. Bystander nailed it, but like other folks were at least close. They were kind of adjacent to it. They were trying to figure it out, but it was a guess. So anyone else have any thoughts related to either that? Again, we know it's the boy who cried wolf. So the next time BG says it's earth-shattering hobby stuff, you may want to slow your roll on that one.
So I mean, we touched on the facts of the thing, but I'm curious what people's opinions are in regards to should what not be held accountable? Are you pro lawsuit? Are you anti lawsuit? Should more suits be coming towards whatnot and other platforms and businesses that we know are screwing us over as consumers? Should is it really, I don't care. I don't use whatnot, so I don't care. I'm just curious what people's opinions are. Yes, I think this is great that whatnot is possibly being held accountable. No, I think they should leave whatnot alone, or I don't care.
I'm good with whatnot being put in a spotlight for some kind of action, but not specifically. I don't know that it's necessarily them that should be held accountable, because I still believe in self accountability. Now, I do know that gambling is an addictive thing and all of that.
Mhm.
We are adults, and there's many things that we may go overboard. And I don't know that, saying, well, there's no restriction on me being able to spend a ton of money on this platform. Who's holding anyone's hand at a card show? Like, who's saying, no, you can't spend but XYZ amount at a card show or in a card shop? I mean, you work at a shop area. You talk about it all the time. People just throwing down the credit card and buying box after box.
I hate seeing it. Yeah.
But they're adults, right? So, I think the hobby, the people need to have some self accountability and stop pointing fingers that, oh, it's Whatnot's fault that, I maxed out my credit card, what have you. So there's two sides to it there.
May I retort?
You may, but let me read a couple of comments first, because
Okay.
I think there's an entertaining retort forthcoming and then mockery forthcoming after that. However, before I get to that, real quick, I'll get caught up. I wonder if this is more shaking the red button. No, the red button would have been awesome. I threw in my video, and Eric, I knew it was a long shot, but I figured at least throw it out there. Imagine if it had been Panini's decided, fuck your logos, we're using them anyway. That would have been interesting. Now, I still don't know if it would work or not, but that would have been interesting. That's lawsuit worthy, Eric. If we're gonna do embargoes, then okay. Now I'm intrigued. You have my attention. That would have been intriguing. I would have liked to have seen them. That's the infamous red button. But of course, BG let us down again. Let us down the primrose path and failed us. Argy99 says, Carlos, why was there a press embargo on it? So based on what I saw, it sounds like Lesko let some people know, because Lesko is obviously the one running it. So it's probably one of those deals like, hey, I'll tell you about this, but I can only tell you about it if you wait until Monday. I'm paraphrasing. I'm just guessing that's kind of the thought process.
I wonder if he hadn't served it yet and he had to wait.
Yeah, like I would expect that would be the rationale for having some kind of a, hey, I will literally talk to you about it the same day, no problem, but it's got to be on this. But if you want to hear about it, then mum's the word until Monday. Yeah. Basically, something to that effect. That would be my guess, is the way to, that's probably the path that led you there. Yes, it is a James Bond martini reference. That is correct. There was a thought to that. Paul says at some point, some congressman's nephew is going to blow $10K on a credit card and $10 worth of crap. You might get full-blown regulation. Until then, likely won't happen. Dan says, I'm saving my opinions for the next Cardboard Cynics.
There's already been a senator or congressperson in Washington that has started to look into all this stuff.
Yes, alternate reality P. Ryan. Bizarro yes. P. Ryan.
Yes, good job with the memory. Yes.
Mm-hmm. You never forget Bizarro P. Ryan.
No.
Moving on. Is why not going to take the hit or individual sellers? Right now, nobody's going to take the hit. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how the arbitration piece goes. Lesko gave a timeline. It could be up to 18 months. So like it's not going to be anything immediate. Life is not changing today. Rob says, I got 99 problems, but Whatnot ain't one. I like it. Sven says, my wife tells me my limit. Eric feels those feels.
Oh, I feel those feels.
If I take a cruise on the Whatnot cruise lines, should I expect a professional level, but not the rowers in the cesspool? Valid questions. Valid questions. Suing is the only way to make these companies listen. Listen, Eric's been yelling lawyer this entire time, and nothing's happened.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. This is Whatnot now, although Paul left open the possibility of lawsuits against individual breakers. That is true.
Yes,
that is accurate. Yes. Although this does not affect most of us, we do need to find the necessity to guide the hobby newbies under moral stewardship as veterans. Yes. Hobby newbies, chosen Rosen is the way. I think that's what about Bobby Man. I'm pretty confident that's what he was talking about. Hashtag
all the chosen Rosens, yes.
I thought it was Will Greer.
Will Greer is so last year.
Still waiting.
You missed that boat sailed. That boat sailed so far away.
All about the
Let's
Drake
go into the
money.
Royal Rumble. After being a hobby legal commentator, yes. The legal actions against breakers would be actual lawsuits because they're not bound by the terms of service to arbitrate. Yes, that is fair. Yes, thank you, Dan. Whatnot does not drive business. On the other side, people will buy cases and break on the case per Whatnot and come back and buy another case. Yeah, and there's also other platforms, by the way. Like Whatnot is one platform. I gave Fanatics Live as an example. That's a different platform. So, just saying. Good evening, Dakota. Says, I hop on. First thing I see is Will Greer. Glad to see the stream went well. Yes.
Bro, it's a color match, Will Greer.
It is.
Big.
It is. It is.
Pack.
May I get to my retort now, please?
Now we are now caught up. You may retort. Commence.
I have the retort.
You have a retort.
Agree with everything that my dear friend Bobbles said.
He's a dear friend now. Okay.
As sad as that fact is, people need to be responsible for themselves. Gambling is an addiction. As someone who worked in the addiction counseling field for 20-something years, it comes down to you do need to be responsible for your own actions. So I completely agree with you on that. My understanding, and if you or Carlos or anyone in the chat believe I am wrong, please correct me and guide me into some better knowledge. This isn't about stopping Whatnot, specifically stopping them from allowing gambling. I believe the issue is getting rid of the bad actors, where Lesko said they have video and proof and examples of what they believe are these, gambling situations, and they're fixed. That there is some shadiness going on, which therefore the gambling is not fair. And once you have some type of gambling and it's fixed, that's a crime. So Whatnot is being accused of allowing these things to continue, not stopping them, not holding them, holding their own rules up to standards. And that is where this is coming from, is they're going after the bad actors, which, they believe are criminally screwing over these gamblers. So that's how I understood this to be. Now, is that going to affect the entire gambling platform? Probably. But this whole thing started where people felt they got screwed. Not so much just taken advantage of because they're gambling addicts and had an adrenaline high. It's while I was gambling, these people were cheating. And Whatnot refuses to address that. That's how I understood it. If I'm wrong, someone clear that up for me.
Sight unseen, Brandon. I feel like telling Eric he's wrong just because it feels like the moral thing to do.
Well, I want to retort his retort.
You can't retort.
Okay, hold on. Before you retort his retort, because now we're getting into dueling retorts.
No, you can't do retorts.
Okay, so James here says, does Whatnot know that a bad seller should do this type of activity, though? Because our Whatnot. Look, I had to do it. Look, I was really nice up until this point, but it was too easy. So anyway, so for James, so the more serious answer. Obviously, people can report it. Now, Whatnot has a really bad track record of responding to reports. Like, they'll get reports from people, hey, this person's doing this, and they'll even get video. Like, there's a really bad history of Whatnot getting video of saying, hey, this seller is violating your terms of service. Here's your terms of service. Here's video of the seller violating your terms of service. That's what we talked about earlier tonight. It's not even having the rules, Eric. They have rules.
Yeah.
It's about how about even at the bare minimum, enforce the rules you have.
Yeah.
If you even enforce the rules you have, it's a start. It's not going to fix everything, but it's a start.
Yes.
At least enforce the existing rules. That'd be a start. All right, Brendan, retort the retort away.
Well, so Eric was talking about, the gambling side of it and how the concern about the go screw, the being screwed. It really, it sounded like he was explaining a ye old wonderful carnival and the lovely carnival games where we know they're rigged, but we still like spending money on them because there's that chance. And it brought me back to 2022, Atlantic City, gambling city, of course, and the National. And when Whatnot had their big breaker area and everything up. And it was like the first time, and it stood out to everyone that it was like a damn circus and carnival over there. Just the whole presentation of it, all the games and lights and the loud noises and all that. There were many people that literally said it was like a carnival and a circus. So it kind of makes sense that Whatnot is literally like going to the circus, and the breaks are playing the basketball game with the bent rim, or the pool game where one of the balls magnetic or something like that. It literally it all makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So there are scammers on Whatnot. The sky is blue, water is wet.
Carnies.
Allegedly, Eric.
And
allegedly.
So now, now that we know that, the question is, and I'll answer my own question. Why doesn't Whatnot do something about it? And the answer is money. They're making money. The people on their platform are making money. That's that. Well, this lawsuit is saying it's not that. You have people that know that who are rigging this stuff.
I've made some money back on them, and I can make a lot more. So that wasn't a gamble.
So can I quickly let me quickly semi-retort one of the retorts. So let me just add something.
I'm getting tired of being retorted.
Plus, it gives me a chance to reference Bar Rescue.
Okay.
So bonus to that. So here's the thing. Obviously, some of the episodes of Bar Rescue, they have restaurants in Vegas. And the thing about restaurants in Vegas is that you've got different kinds of gambling machines included. So that's a factor in the design of the restaurant, all that. So obviously, if you're doing one in Vegas, you're going to have all the little poker machines. You can have the little video poker on there. Well, guess what? When you're doing it, one of the conversations on one of the episodes specifically, because this was in Vegas with the video poker machines, they were like, hey guys, this is a conversation. Hey guys, your video poker machines are too hard. Not enough people are winning. Therefore, it actually reduces the amount of people wanting to play, because if it feels like you're never winning, you're not going to get those guys who are going to come in and play video poker. Even if they're winning at a modest amount of time with decent payouts, that motivates them to come back, therefore actually bringing more people to play the machines. All we're talking about here is adjusting the win ratio, literally the programmed win ratio. We're stacking the game. We can make it harder. We can make it easier. You talked about the carnival games, Brennan. What about those little plushy claw games? Mm-hmm. You can adjust that. You can set it up so that it's easier or harder, because people can try it 1,000 times and never get. Well, if nobody ever wins the goddamn plushie, Brendan, after a while, you're not going to make any money anymore.
Yep.
You got to balance it. So what you're doing is you're balancing the scales to make it possible for enough people to win to keep the game going. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Can't be too easy, you don't make money. Can't be too hard, or else people stop playing. You got to find the magic balance. But these are all gambling. These are all games of chance. And people don't think about it, Eric, because, you're just trying to win your prize is a plushie. They're not thinking about it in the same, but it's a game of chance. You're literally pumping money into this thing. You can just buy the damn plushie most of the time cheaper than the amount of times you're going to have to play to get the damn thing.
Of course.
It's a game of chance. And it's programmed into the thing. The same way a slot machine is programmed. The same way all these things are an algorithm.
And just like you just said, you could buy the plushie cheaper than the gamble to try to get it. Well, Correct. Isn't that just wax breaks? We've talked about it a million times. Wait for someone else to break the boxes and put the card you want on eBay or in the cabinet at the card store, and just buy it there. You're saving yourself money and time. I don't get it. I don't get opening wax and hoping you're going to hit $1 million card. You're going to spend $2 million before you get the $1 million.
Here's the thing though, Eric, and I think you would completely understand this, especially with some of what you've done in the background. And I've experienced this. My mother-in-law went through this, and it ruined a lot of stuff within the family. They see all of these posts, all of these 5, 6, 7-figure cards being pulled, and all of this, right? And it presents you could be a winner too. And then you have those who try it, and they might hit a big card, or they get into a break or a repack and they hit a big card. And once they've experienced that, or if they've seen that, I think if someone actually does hit, it makes it that much worse, because then they can go down this spiral and just keep buying and buying and buying and buying it, because all of it, it only takes one to get it all back and be in the profit and everything else. And sometimes you never get it all back. You just lose everything, and you go even deeper. And that's the addiction side to it. And sometimes I do think it's worse if the person actually hits, because then it gives them belief, and they just go all in and just lose everything.
Yeah.
So
you get the taste, and you chasing the dragon. And
the advertising is everywhere. All we see constantly on social media and everything is, this was pulled, I just hit this just sold. And it's like, we talk about the collectors, but 99% of the posts is about the big hits and what things sold for. It's not about the collector, because the companies like Fanatics and everybody, they want the new guy coming in. They want the new guy buying the lottery ticket. They want the new guy gambling.
Yep.
And so they need to show, well, you could be a winner too. And then when they're not, that's when all hell breaks loose. And, we have these situations here, but, it sucks. And as someone that I spent a lot of money on breaks, I used to buy into repacks and stuff like that years ago. And then, I woke up, luckily, and then I started buying wax all the time. And then, it went up to a price I didn't want to pay for. And now I'm just buying the singles. So I went through a progression, but, I lost a lot of money in breaks chasing, like, of all freaking players, Manny freaking Machado. I'll never forget that.
I had to speak up within the last 5 days at work, and I don't remember exactly what day it was. Doesn't matter. And I think I may have touched on the story on Friday, but we had a 12-year-old come in, and he hit 2 downtowns, like back to back. And he's new to the hobby, and his dad is new to the hobby, and he just wants to do something with the son. He collected when he was a kid. It's a great heartwarming story of a dad and his son. And this kid hit 2 downtowns worth, a few $100s each, and they were back for more. And and the father's like, this is great. And he's hit this. This is fantastic. So we're back. And I had to. We're talking about a 12-year-old. If you're 45 and you want to come in and remortgage your house and give us all your money, that's on you. Like we said earlier, as much as I hate it, it bothers me. You're an adult. You have a 12-year-old who's super excited about this, who hit 2 downtowns in a week, and a dad who doesn't know the first thing about modern day card collecting. I had to sit and talk to them. I had to make the father especially understand this is not normal. This is not normal. This is you had lightning in a bottle. To hit it once and get a $300 card is unbelievably rare. For that kid to open up 2 boxes in a week and hit 2 downtowns, it's like getting hit by lightning twice. It's impossible. They thought every other or every third box, they're going to hit a $300 card. Now, what that parent does with his money and how he wants to raise his kid is now on them. But I couldn't just keep taking money from them. I had to educate this father, and I had to educate this 12-year-old who probably went in one ear and out the other.
Well, what Eric's not telling you, Brandon, is that then he proceeded to pull 5 straight more $300 cards and was struck by lightning.
Yeah. I couldn't just be like, hey, that's great. Why don't you go try the $700 box? I couldn't do it.
You should have just handed him a box of a cup and
that'd be great.
Yeah. I could not do it. So I went with my conscience. Nobody at the shop got mad at me. Everyone there's good people too. And
are they, Eric? Are they?
Well, when it comes to kids, they are. I'm not going to speak.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it.
All right. I'm not going to speak on anything else. But I had to educate the father and do my best to educate the very excited 12-year-old. Other people, other shops, other people on some of the bad actors and whatnot would be encouraging them to open a $700 box, $1,000 box, because
it only takes one.
Yeah, and you have great luck, and this is what happens all the time. Good, you're going to do great. No, it's slow down. Here's some information. Don't get your hopes up. Don't I know you're trying to enjoy time with your son. Don't max out the credit card. Okay. I had to do something. So do you feel though that grabbing your knife, pulling it out, and chasing the kid around the shop was excessive though? Well, I wanted to scare him a little so he didn't come back and blow more money.
What does Phil think when you tell him that you told customers not to spend money?
That was the point I was making a moment ago. I didn't get in trouble.
Okay.
Now, again, if I said to a 45-year-old, please stop spending money here in the shop, Phil would knock my head off.
Phil would put you back there with the Bobby Orr game used stick that was handled.
Yeah, he would beat me with the Bobby Orr game used stick. But Phil has a huge heart when it comes to kids. So it wasn't an issue. It was educating people isn't a bad thing. And if in the long term, if customers trust you and they feel safe coming to your shop, they're going to come more often and spend more money in the long run. And they're going to tell people they're really good guys down there. They could have taken advantage of us. Instead, they did this. So you want that reputation, especially when it comes to kids.
What if his 12-year-old friend from school bought the box that he was going to buy and pulls a $600 card?
Then the fighting begins. So Zach kind of covered it here.
I don't work in sports world anymore.
Zach kind of covered it here, Brennan. It says, good people, ? Selling wax to kids, you're basically a drug dealer. Well, that's the point, Zach. Eric was trying to get them away from buying the sealed wax. And they said, look, kid, you got lucky. You pulled these big cards. That's not going to happen all the time. So you need to stop while you're ahead. Now, here's some crack cocaine, allegedly.
We don't sell the crack cocaine in the store. We do that in the parking lot.
The opinions expressed by Bougie Eric are those potentially of implicating sports world, are those of Bougie Eric and nobody else but Bougie Eric.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Allegedly, Brandon.
We've
had enough lawsuits on this day.
Yeah, I was just giving
had enough.
We don't need. Yeah, we don't need to be part of that.
Brandon, look, I've been very clear on this. Any of the most objectionable comments are directly those of Bougie Eric, and potentially you may reach out to Sports World and ask for Bougie Eric and his ugly yellow shirt.
It's not an ugly yellow shirt.
It's really ugly yellow shirt.
0 pucks given.
That's fine. You can get that design on shirts that aren't like you threw up on yourself yellow.
It's mustard.
Good Lord, man. Just saying. Baz says, I heard that Eric now has a kazoo showcase in store. He's pushing cheap Taiwanese kazoos on Kiss now. This bastard. Have you no decency, sir?
In the back right corner, that's where we have that section. Yeah, we have a kazoo section now.
It would actually be great if you had like a rotating platform with the crushed kazoo and just spun around. And people are like, what is this? Well, let me tell you, son. It's quite the tale.
That's still in the trash can in the garage. I should pull that out and have it here just to bring out every once in a while.
Well, you need to put it on a rotating platform. So you need to
show people what could have been.
Yeah, that I think would work out for everybody involved.
I got to dig it out of the trash.
Indeed. Well, on that bombshell, would look better on a mayo colored shirt, not mustard.
I know this is Monday, but my patients are being tested. So excuse me, but shut up, Josh.
Wow.
Thank you.
Crazy. So real quick, folks, any other pieces of business that we want to talk about? Otherwise, I will get into pickups and then we'll basically slowly wind her down here this evening. Thank you all for participating. Great chat. Great. Everybody. Thanks for everybody contributing. Also, thanks to everybody who commented on the last video. It was fun. So they did give us a bonus. They did give us a little bonus content. So the content gods appreciate your sacrifice to give us that. Again, I don't expect anything to come of this in the short run. Down the road, maybe, but we're still waiting. I don't think we expect anything crazy coming out of this in the short run. But if anything does between now and then, well, then we got the Friday Live for that. Don't worry. We will cover it. Wall-to-wall coverage, let me tell you.
Yeah. Just to be on the record, I am pro whatnot lawsuit.
Mm.
The bad
I know you as Plo.
Bad actors need to plow. Go.
Wow. You know what PLO is? Potluck Omaha. That sounds like gambling, Eric. Just saying. It's a World Series of Poker event. Multiple formats. Just throwing it out there. So I did a video a little last week, I think it was. I said it was a tale of two cards. Well, Brendan, tonight I have a tale of two cards again. But it's a different tale of two cards and two different cards. So this weekend was an expensive one. So Carlos will be selling some cards this week.
Before you get started, is this a damn blog?
Oh, this is a blog. I am blogging.
I just
so
wanted
hard
to
right
clarify, make sure that we are on the right path. Just want to make sure we were in the blog stage.
I am blogging so hard right now. Paul, I got to check to see. Today, I think, is the day they're finally off vacation. So I have to see if that's the case. Let me look into it. I haven't checked it out. So my save searches yielded success. So the first one of these, I was actually waiting because it was an auction and I had my snipes and everything set and I wanted to see if I could be victorious. And the seller actually had two of them, which was extra fancy because my Medano PC is basically broken up into all these different eras, but my main focus is the playing days. Playing days I'm always going to like more, and the 90s playing days in particular are ones that I'm looking for. So what actually came, and this seller had two of them, and I think the other one will probably be ending this week as well, but I was able to take down the first one, which was the key thing for me, and I'll quickly tell you about it. So it's this one right here. This is the standing ovation. So for those not initiated the late 90s, the hockeys, I believe this was a retail-only product, if memory serves me. The standing ovation, though, is the only parallel, and it is numbered to 50.
Oh, okay, nice.
So retail only product, number to 50. These ones are very tough to come by. They don't appear very often. I know where a handful of them are, but when they came into it, I was like, yes, I must have it. So I set the snipe, Brendan, and I took it down. I was victorious. Excellent. So already off to a good start. We're happy. We're pleased. We feel good.
And you spent what you what you considered to be fair on this, or did you?
My snipe was double what I actually paid.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yes, indeed. So all good so far. Great. So I figured I'm good. I'm solid. And Brandon, I'm trying to slowly put some money aside for the Spring Expo because we're in March, but I'm slowly, as time is coming up, we'll start the countdown business to its upcoming shortly. But right now we're still okay. So I figure we're okay. And then unfortunately, Brandon, on Sunday, disaster struck. One of the other save searches yielded a hit. So I purchased this and I was all good. I was all set. And then second one comes up.
Uh-oh, big mama.
98.99 SPX finite. When I get it in hand, I'll give the full explanation. I'll even show all the different variations. But the way that finite worked is that every single card from the base card on, all of them were numbered. All the base cards were numbered, all the parallels were numbered, and there were 3 variants. So Medano had 3 different cards in there. It's a staggered checklist. The high numbers were the marquee performers. They were the toughest ones. And there are 2 parallels to the marquee performers. The toughest version of the marquee performers is the Spectrum, which is numbered to 25. Late 90s, numbered to 25. That's a tough card.
Yes.
Marquee performers. You can see from this image, there is much shine.
There is
much
some shine. Yes.
And right there on the side, out of 25. And it's embossed. You got embossed plus the shine.
Plus the shine.
Mm-hmm. So this is a situation where first one, Brandon, was an auction, which is always great. It's nice to see an auction because then you can find out. It's just whoever wins the high bid. You're all good. The second one, they knew what they had. They put 90s Grail in the title, and they did buy it now best offer. I'm like, son of a bitch.
That's
I've been waiting for this one. Brandon, that's literally the only reason I have that safe search is for that one card. That is the only variant that I'm missing from that set. Because like I said, Medano has 3 different ones, and then 3 parallels of each. That means 9 cards. I have 8 of the 9 cards. I have all the other versions except for that one. So I did the back and forth with the seller through the eBays, and we came to a price. And I'm going to have to raise Eric's like button money, is what I'm saying.
I don't like that.
Indeed. But I'll be happy to have it. When I get it in hand, Brandon, that 98.99 SPX finite, done. It's over. It's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, that one is going to eBay authenticity guarantee. It costs too much. It goes to eBay. I've literally had like 4 of the last 5 auctions that I bought have all gone to eBay authenticity guarantee. Like,
Quality.
Yeah, quality. The Ovation one is okay because it was in Canada number 1, and number 2 it was much more reasonable. I was very happy because in auction it let me. I still won it, but I didn't have to pay as much as I thought would be required. I was like, all right, this is good. And both of them are good. Late 90s out of 50 and out of 25, very solid. I haven't come across the marquee performers. I don't remember the last time I saw one even available. I know 1 or 2 other collectors who have them, and they bought them in collections. So they didn't buy it as a single. They bought it as part of a collection. So that's the reason they had it. Unfortunately, they're Medano collectors, so obviously they're going to hold on to that. So I wanted to get my copy, but it's like sometimes you got to pay up. Sometimes you don't have a choice. You got to pay the piper. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Ovation was an interesting set because, like I said, I think it was retail only. So I don't know if it was tins maybe, but I'm pretty sure it was retail only. So yeah, they those things dried up a long time ago. They weren't really very heavily collected back then. But yeah, one is 99 2000, the other one is 98.99. Late 90s, playing days, got those off the checklist. I'll take it. But yeah, an expensive weekend, Brandon. It didn't start off that way, and then it became because when you got the safe search, Brandon, and it's literally for one card, you're literally looking for one specific card. That's the only reason the safe search's been there.
Yeah, you jump on it.
Yeah, I had to. At that point, I had no choice. I was like, all right, I've been waiting years, Eric, for that one to yield me a hit. It's been there, but it's nothing.
Pay the fiddle.
Yep. Good evening, Hitman. Absolutely. Yes. Either one of you want to share any pickups? Got anything coming on that you'd like to share?
All of mine are ComC buys because I'm trying to build the pile to purge the inventory out. So I haven't gotten anything in the mail, like card wise. I've gotten a couple of things that I displayed over there, but yeah.
Eric, has the claw been busy? Have you?
Oh yes, the claw's been busy.
Have you purchased anything in Sports World?
I have purchased an item that would probably surprise most people. The greatest Patriot, New England Patriot of all time.
Irving Fryer.
No.
Oh.
See, if I'm just it's
Antonio Brown.
It's not dipshit head Brady. Other than
Antonio Brown.
Brad Johnson.
Let's just see anyone in the chat could guess it. Other than dipshit Tom Brady, who is the greatest, and I truly mean GOAT. This is not me being silly and saying like, Tony Frank
Aaron Hernandez
for 86 kicker is, the best. No, who is the greatest Patriot of all time?
Aaron
The
Hernandez.
greatest in his position, the greatest to ever wear the uniform.
Vinatieri.
No.
He won your Super Bowls, man.
I'm looking to see if anyone in the chat can guess it. I'll give it a yes, nailed it. Thank you. Right, make me big. Hog Hanna, the greatest left guard in the history of the NFL, without a doubt, no question, the true GOAT of the New England Patriots. Picked this up, absolutely gorgeous. I love the photo, the old uniform. It is a sticker auto, which sucks, but I couldn't say no once I saw it. So yes, the greatest Patriot of all time, Hog Hanna, right there.
I bet he likes mayonnaise.
He does.
No, why do you always got to ruin everything?
I'm just saying, like, pointing it out, the imagery, the stance. It looks like a guy that really enjoys mayonnaise.
You look at that man and you see that's a mailman right there.
Yeah.
Greatest Patriot of all time, greatest at his position of anyone who's ever played, would come out today and destroy anybody that lined up against him. He is absolutely the greatest. So I couldn't help it. I saw it. I went, I need it. Got to have it. Now it's mine.
Eric needed to find the $5, Paul. $5 is critical to discover. And Rob's correct. So that was like I said, I'll elaborate more, Brendan, when I get it in hand. But those two cards represent both. One of them was very reasonable. I was actually very happy with the result of the auction one. The other one, I know I paid strong. I'll talk more about it when I get it in hand. That's why I also want to put it with the other one so that I can show the whole page of the 9 completed. But the thing is that in my checklist, as time has gone by, those ones dried up so many years ago now that I literally the safe search just exists on the hope that eventually there would be a ping, and it just wasn't happening. And it's been there for years. I've literally had that safe search there for years, and to get a ping, and I go, that's actually the card. That's actually the card.
That's exciting, isn't it?
So I was like, that was a big one. So when I get it in hand, Brandon, my favorite thing is going to be like save, search, delete. One less save, search. Those are tough, but when you get one, man,
it puts into perspective the different of eras. Like, you look at that card, the 1 out of 50, and you think, okay, there's 50 of them. It should be somewhat easily obtainable. But back then, you had people actually collecting, and so when they were bought or whatever, they were tucked away until like scenarios now where it finally pops out. Today, there's so many cards numbered out of 50. They're constantly circulating because nobody's like out of the 50, you might have 20 of them that get tucked away or something. So they're constantly available. So it's just a good reminder in the difference of perspective of the eras that we're dealing with. 50 doesn't mean 50 anymore.
No, that's basically, to your point. Like, if it was a new 1 out of 50 right now, wouldn't be a problem.
There'd be 6 of them on ComC.
Yeah, I can usually get my hands on them super quick. It's no issue. But the problem right now is that this time has gone on. You keep waiting and waiting and waiting. But yeah, it just doesn't come up. And you pretty much need somebody to either break a set. So kind of Paul's point, you need someone to either break a set, or they've got a group of them and they list them all at once. And then maybe your player happens to be part of the group. That's another way. Or finally, one of the big collectors gives up. You're basically, it's a war of attrition. You're basically because the likelihood most of the time stuff isn't going to come out of like a set break. Although AMG has been pretty good about getting stuff like that. Sometimes somebody will come in, but what happens, Brandon, in that case, it's a collection. Somebody comes in with a collection, and as they go through it, wait a minute, this is one of those things. And it happens to be in the middle of a box with other stuff because at the time they weren't thinking about it. That's how I basically find those things. It's kind of sneaky because you go and looking and it's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. There you go. So good for you, Eric. You found yourself a card. Although Antonio Brown is really what I thought you were going with.
Nope.
Or Aaron Hernandez.
Nope.
You know, greatest Patriots ever.
Nope.
All right. Well, you know, I tried. It is what it is.
Nope.
So on that bombshell. Anything else that we got, gentlemen? I'm going to go to the top of the hour. We'll end it right about 2 hours on the dot. Last comments, folks. Thank you all in the chat for participating and joining us this evening. The community post will be there for the silly card of the week. You are more than welcome to make your selections. They will be there as well. I don't know if anything else is going to come up this week I don't have anything planned in terms of videos, but you never know. You never know. They could listen. There's always an opportunity. Eric, you want to sue anybody? You want to start any more hobby lawsuits? Like, we can do that between now and the end of the week.
Well, I was going to ask Eric. I've seen some posts of supposedly a giant card show in Massachusetts.
The Marlboro Card Show?
I don't remember what town it said. I think it was called like the Northeastern Sports Card Expo or something like that.
They're trying to. We've had the Shriners, which has always been the largest one, and they're trying to double the size of the Shriners for this Northeast Card Show, where they're going to try to do 1,000 tables. We'll see how it ends up going. I hope that we will be represented there. I hope, I'll be there, either working or walking around. But I haven't really had any. I have to sit down with Corey and decide whether or not we're doing that or not. So
I seen CSA made a post yesterday about the Chantilly show. I thought that they had came up with a location, but but by the way the post was, I guess nothing has happened yet because they didn't have any updates of like where Chantilly show was moving to or anything as of yet. So that was kind of interesting because I had heard rumors of 2 different locations that they were going to do it, but apparently not, since they didn't give any indication of anything. So nothing big here right now.
Well, drive on up, and you can either go to Shriners or you can go to this 1,000 table show, and we'll have a good time.
I'll have to think on that, but I just would like to point out Philly is closer than Massachusetts, and I didn't go to the Philly show. So,
all right.
But yeah, I think, what did it say? It was June.
I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I forget. I remember referencing the 1,000 table show because, like I said, that's what I say. I'm pretty sure it is still in Marlboro, isn't it, Eric?
I believe that's where they're going to have it.
Yeah. So that's what I say. Like, I was promised the Marlboro Man. So if I'm not getting the Marlboro Man,
funny
that's the least I
thing.
can do.
Do you know what his name actually was?
Well, there was more than one Marlboro Man. There was the one that was related to Sam Darnold. There was that one.
Yeah, do you know what his name was?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was Hammer. Yeah, we made the joke during the Super Bowl. It was something Hammer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, because Sam Darnold was in the Super Bowl. The joke came up. Eric, do you think I would miss that joke?
No.
When there's a Sam Darnold like Marlboro Man and the man's last name is Hammer. And let me tell you,
I mean, the first name his name was Dick Hammer.
That's what I mean. And I made the joke. Literally, the New England Patriots. Eric experienced a Dick Hammer. The Patriots got Dick Hammer.
Super Bowl MVP, or not MVP, Super Bowl winner, Sam Darnold as a grandchild.
That's right. Go to Shriners and ride a tricycle with Eric. That'd be exciting.
Can we get the little cars? Like the little
Pope-mobile? Oh, the go-kart. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
I think Eric should get a Pope-mobile. I think that'd be awesome.
They may not search him when he enters Canada if he had the Pope-mobile.
I had the Pope-mobile, that'd be a different conversation. They'd roll it. They wouldn't search him. They'd just roll it. It'd be like, if the contraband falls out, we'll know. Just roll the thing. I like it. I'm not going to lie. I like it. So you're saying basically, so just to conclude this whole thing, so this hasn't shaken the hobby to its core. Like I thought I was promised things. Are we? We're not shaken to our core here. Nothing.
We have a revolt. Everybody's
How's the
shaking.
revolution coming along though? Like, we've had multiple leaders of the revolution. How's that going along? Is the revolution still on?
March has been freaking crazy.
Eric, I need updates. Is the revolution still on? Have we given up on the revolution, or like is one thing?
You gotta ask Neo now, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask Neo. I don't know if it's still going on.
He's in charge of the revolution, last I heard.
Yeah, he's probably gonna put it on the weekend update. Like, probably we're not gonna hear about it until the weekend. That's really unfortunate. I need updates of the revolution, man. The actual Pope? That'd be good.
That would be cool. He's from Massachusetts.
Or what, the current Pope?
Yeah, I thought so.
Isn't he a Bears fan?
I thought he was from Chicago.
Oh,
I was gonna say, isn't he a Bears fan? Like, I'm pretty sure he's a Bears fan.
Connections here somewhere.
Who's the current president? And don't say Washington.
That's my go-to.
Or the reference gets sidetracked with YouTube Premium. That might be the case, Paul. That might have happened. Yeah, I thought so, Laura. Chicago. That's right. Yeah. I remember he's a Bears fan.
He's got some connection to Massachusetts. I don't remember which.
Well, according to you, everybody's got a connection to Massachusetts. Hey, guys.
Max.
Let me tell you. You know who's got a great connection to Massachusetts? What? Italy. What, the country? Yes, connection to Massachusetts.
You get the North End, so it's kind of a big deal.
Interesting. Maybe that's where the hobby revolution is. Maybe the hobby revolution is stuck somewhere. Maybe they're like at East Side Mario's and they're trying to get out. Could be distracting.
All right, now I got to find out. I got to see the Pope.
You could go to weclaimhim.com, and it's a website where Massachusetts tries to claim everything. It's ours. I swear we had something to do with it. I don't know, man. But I got to be honest, considering it's a random Monday live on Nothing Burger Story, got a lot of mileage on this one, man. Got a lot of mileage.
Good conversation.
Really good. Really good.
I was sitting here going through my
my
ComC purchases that I have sitting there that are approaching a year old since I started buying this order. I got some cool stuff in there. I'm excited to maybe get them in 2027. So.
All right, so let me document these. All right, hold on. I want to document these. So I'm going to do this tonight as a reminder, and then we'll recap it later. So for the record, I've got 2 ComC shipments that I've done. One is expedited, but the other one is normal. Okay, so I'm going to give like the numbers here. So the one that I did first was maybe about 4 or 5 days ago. So March 12th is when I requested it. Right now, the estimated ship date, May 25th. And there are 854,618 ahead of my order. This is the larger of the 2. So that's the first one. Second one is a smaller package, but it's more expedited because it's only like 4 cards. And it includes one that I was surprised to see it a pickup as well. This one was 3 days later. Estimated ship date, April 17th. There are less than 38,000 ahead of it. 37,936. So that one got pushed ahead of it because it's more expedited than the other one. So we'll see. We'll see how close they come to those targets. But right now, that's what I'm looking at. Right now, I'm looking at like a mid-April for the faster one. We'll see.
Well, this order is going to have a lot of pump opportunity in it. I forgot everything that I bought. It's been so long. There's some cool stuff in here. I bought that one off of you.
The Jason Robertson?
Yeah, what was it called? Meteor shower. Yeah. Got that one in here.
Go ahead, Eric. Have you found a connection to Massachusetts? Have you been able to scrape the bottom of the barrel?
I knew there was something from when he became Pope.
He once punched out a Red Sox fan. Like, what do you got?
No, he already beat me. Laura, is that what it is? Laura beat me to it. Yeah, he has in 2005, he was given an honorary degree from Merrimack College, which isn't too far from my house. So
you gave him an honorary degree just to be adjacent to the Pope?
I knew there was some connection, and I knew it was like local to me. And I could drive to Merrimack College in 25 minutes if there's no traffic.
Josh says a month for them to do 38,000 items doesn't seem like they solved any problem. Listen, man, they need a double building you can see from space, and they need 2 robots, and they need a director of communications. By the way, actually, since this reminds me, Brandon, it made me chuckle. So I did mention on my video for ComC, I mentioned on that one the whole director of communication things. So actually, real quick, I can kind of share this here. Okay, so here it is. Hang on. So I was curious in my video, I brought it up, and I was like sitting there like, I wonder if they're actually. So here it is, director of customer success and communications, a full-time role. Okay.
Customer success, there isn't any.
Hey, but look, the salary is pretty good, Eric. It's 149 to 175K.
Oh, I like that. I can
Pretty
communicate.
good. It's pretty good.
I can communicate wicked good.
You're gonna have to. It's a full-time role. Now it is at the Algona, Washington address, so you might have to commute a bit. Travel required less than 10%. Reports to the SVP of People and Operations. People.
I like
The SVP
that.
of People.
People are good.
So let's see about you. Let's see anybody in the chat. Let's see if this reflects you. Let's see if this speaks to your soul. Okay. Summary. The director of customer success and communications will lead the evolution, not revolution, evolution of ComC's customer experience from a primarily reactive support model to a proactive, scalable customer success organization.
Proactive?
From
That's
a reactive
thing?
to a proactive.
So they want to be proactive. Oh,
Yes, they need a director to be proactive. That's part of the deal here. By the way, this is actually, so look, if you go to ComC's page and you go to jobs, that's literally what I did. I just opened this up. I'm just reading it off of the thing. I don't want anybody complaining to me. I'm literally just reading off the public site. This is the public site.
Right.
About you. You are a proven change leader who thrives in environments where there is opportunity to build, transform, and mature a function. You bring strong strategic instincts, exceptional communication skills, and the willingness to dive into details early to understand how the work truly gets done. I don't know, Eric. It sounds like they're describing you to a T, at least for comedic purposes. Sounds to me like you need to apply. All I'm hearing.
I think I'm gonna. Because like I said, I could communicate wicked good.
I see the vision. I see the dream. So Josh says, do you have the, by the way, you're more than welcome to have at it if you would like. Just go to ComC and job section. And yes, the director position is still open for application. So you are welcome to apply at your leisure.
I'm going for it.
So Josh says, do you have items shipped to you or get shipped? So so these ones I'm having shipped directly to me. I'm going to have it through the through BC office and then to me. So I've got the duties already paid. So that's fine.
You said duty.
Yes. I usually surround the package with Boston Bruins cards. A lot of Milt Schmitz.
Don't joke about Uncle Milty. He was a great guy. I met him many times. He was awesome.
He's not your uncle, you lying swine.
Uncle Milty. He was
Brandon, he's claiming random people as relatives.
he's adjacent to everything.
This is what it appears, yes. You'd have to retire the claw. You would think so, you'd hope. Josh says, mature suggests none of us quality.
I got 1, 2, 3 Milt Schmidt autos in sight. I have others put away, but
how many of those are on a birth certificate to indicate a relation?
I have 3 Uncle Milties in my view.
Interesting. Bob says, what the fuck is a change leader? A leader of change.
Yeah. Duh.
Look, my favorite part about that, Brandon, is that change leader is one of the standard kind of language tropes that you include in these kind of postings. The thing is, if I wanted to be a little bit, if I wanted to be 5% less mature, I would point out that this hobby is built on not leading change. It's built on we fear change.
Yeah.
Change is a struggle. Change is pain. That would explain a lot about the industry side. Change can happen, but only with great pain and possibly lawsuits. Plural.
Lawyer.
Not one, but many.
Mm.
Anyway, so now if all y'all want to, if you're looking for something to do, and you're in the Washington state area, you can be a director of customer success and communications.
All right, last thing I want to show that I got for my birthday. I forgot that they were here. My daughter got these for me. All right. I had most of these as a kid. She found a random stack. They're kind of banged up, but I don't care. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back cards from 1980. Look at that. I had a bunch. Look at that from Hoth. Look at that. Cloud City. All that. I couldn't believe it when she handed me these things for my birthday. She found them at like an antique store or something. And going through them, I could remember the ones I've had. I mean, his first show, I don't know if this is his rookie card or not, but I mean, Boba Fett, that might be his rookie.
Somewhere out there, Victor is throwing things at his television.
Yeah, I don't care. I remember throwing this away because in 1980, I didn't like all that mushy gushy stuff, so I threw it in the trash. So I knew they were going to do the kissins, and I threw that. I was like, nope. Look at Darth. Urgh. I mean, I thought this was so cool back then. And of course, I lost them or got rid of them all. And then my daughter got these for me for my birthday. I just thought these were so cool. Here's another cool one. So
put that back up.
Hold on, here we go. This is when he went and found Darth Vader on.
So we need to remember next year, and we need to get you one to go with it. That is Eric Battles himself.
Eric Battles himself. I battle myself every day when it's time to wake up. I got to face another day.
Bob's right here. That's a good sign that your brain isn't completely pickled from the concussions, Eric.
Yeah, I agree, because it was really kind of weird that I'm going through all these and I'm like, oh, I had that one. And no, I'm like, oh, I had that one. And I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. I mean, I haven't thought of Empire Strikes Back cards probably since 1980. And all of a sudden, I got a handful of them. And I'm like, this is the coolest birthday present.
All I'm hearing from Eric is that if he's holding the cards in his hand, he's like, all right, finally, I know the president is not George Washington. Okay, Eric, who's the president? Jimmy Carter?
It's either Carter or Reagan at this point. I'm not sure.
For 80, it would be Carter.
Yeah. So I see this, first thing that comes to mind. And I thought they smelled bad on the outside. Everyone knows that scene.
Do they, Eric?
I thought this one was really cool, and it also reminds me of my silly card of the week. The Vader in his meditation chamber, but you can see, they took a shot from the film crew in the back. Very similar to my silly card of the week shot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Josh here is asking, any more additions to the 66, 67? Well, I think you showed the additions last time, or at least on the Friday. Those are the newest additions, I think.
Yeah, I got a huge stack of those. And
this is also accurate.
I don't have that one. That's from the Star Wars. That's not from Empire. These are all Empire cards.
Good one, Han, indeed. Mm-hmm.
And if I could get the goldenrod, I would get it, and because that would be hysterical. So if the goldenrod ever comes into the shop, it's going home with me. I definitely want that in my collection.
The claw will return.
The claw will get the goldenrod.
So you heard it. The claw. Eric wants to claw the goldenrod.
I will claw the goldenrod if it comes into the shop. Oh, nice. Do you have the goldenrod? You don't have the goldenrod. No way. He does have it.
And it just so happened to be sitting on my table.
It just so happened to be. He went into the tickle trunk, Eric. He reached into the tickle
I
trunk.
told y'all I was like redoing some of my displays, and it was right up in that one, and I had literally took it off and set it right here, and I was like, wait, I got it right here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely want that. That's got to be in my collection at some point. So if it comes through the door, it's going home with me.
And on that bombshell, that's episode 171. More videos coming on the channel. Live stream Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The longest running episodic, whatever it is, we don't know. Eric will be there with bells on. He will pay for the like button, whether he wants to or not. And especially if he doesn't want to. Amazing.
Which I do not.
Thank you, Laura. Carlos Crew, an exceptionally entertaining evening. Thank you for your time. Thank you. On your way out, folks, if you could hit the like button, that would be appreciated. Make sure to do that. Eric pays for it.
No, I don't.
Is this the happiest Eric's been on live stream? For a brief shining moment, he didn't realize he was in captivity.
Yeah,
He laughed the hearty laugh of a free man.
Well, we'll go back to being miserable now. Thanks.
That was it, Bob. Now you know. All right, folks, thank you for joining us. So, unfortunately, the hobby has not been shaken to its foundation, has not been shaken to its core, despite what we were promised by BG himself. So, once again, BG has failed us. Again. And I'm not just talking about the too many parallels for Leaf. I guess we'll wait. The revolution will have to go on to another day. The universe can rest. Is Eric, the force? Let's get some sleep.
I do need to get some sleep.
Great, Rob. Thank you all for checking us out. Appreciate you. Have yourself a good night. Take it easy. We'll catch you in the next one.
Good night, everybody.